Hey everyone, I'm Lisette Oropesa, and I'm an opera singer. I get tons of questions all the time about what it's like to travel the world singing for a living. So I hope you guys will follow along. I've compiled some of the most popular questions that I get, along with some of the most unique ones in this little video, and hopefully we can turn this into a regular series, because I keep getting questions from you guys. So thanks so much for joining me, and enjoy the video. The Smashcan asks, do you have any tips or tricks for learning to run for someone who has a lot of extra weight on their frame? Yes. Definitely start slow and take it easy, especially when you're first starting to build up mileage. A heavier frame definitely puts a lot more strain on your joints and on your muscles, and I wouldn't advise starting out just as fast as you can go. I definitely would advise for you to take smaller steps, more steps per minute, so a higher cadence. So instead of running like this many, like at this pace, I would advise you to do as quickly as you can and shorten the length of your stride. You might feel like you're taking princess steps at first, but this is absolutely a wonderful way to build up a very healthy running cadence, and definitely take walk breaks every 30 seconds or every 20 seconds or every 1 minute and build up from there. I promise you, you will get better. Annastreijffert asks, if you could redo your college or education background, would you? And do you have any tips for choosing a college? I wouldn't change a single thing about where I went to school. I went to Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge. I had a wonderful upbringing there. I studied with a marvelous teacher, Robert Grayson. Now, there are many, many wonderful colleges and conservatories and universities all around the United States and the world with excellent voice teachers. The best thing for you to do is to try to find one that has a good opera program where you'll get a chance to hopefully perform roles, and to study with a teacher with a good reputation of good students. So I would email alumnus if you can find some. I would research the teachers on their credentials, on their performance careers. So just to see if you can find somebody who's a good fit for you, because every singer is different, every student is different. You might need someone with more of a background in Alexander technique. You might need someone with more of a background in pedagogy. You might need someone with more of a background in theatrical performing arts. So it really is up to what you feel that your needs are and what each teacher can offer specifically. So the best research you can do is to try to find out from those students that have graduated from that school what their experience at the school was like and how they're currently doing. I have a question from Melitzana, or melitzana, I'm not sure how you say it. And she asks about going from being in a choir to then singing as a soloist. And she's having a little bit of trouble finding the transition, and it seems to be getting harder and harder to sing in choir. So she wants to know what we can do about that. Now, I completely understand where that comes from, and it's most likely two things. One, your director's probably asking you to sing softer so that you can blend together as a section. And your director may be asking you to sing straight tone all the time, which I totally don't think is bad. I think being able to sing healthy straight tone is actually an important skill that you should have as a singer, because there are lots of styles of music and lots of conductors that will request more straight tone. So in order to sing straight tone safely and softly safely, you really need to sing much more on the support. So a nice lifted rib cage, a nice dropped lower belly, and as you sing, keep your soft palate very, very domey, so you're in a very kind of yawny position. Don't be with your tongue down and your palate down. Your palate needs to be up and lifted so that you can sing nice and domey and soft and gently as the director is asking. Now, if you need to sing straight tone, don't hold with your jaw either. Go ahead and let your jaw be free. But keep the air spinning in your mind. So keep the support going from down here, keep the position nice and lifted, and keep the air moving and spinning. And you're gonna find that straight tone is not gonna be as exhausting if you do it that way. And also, of course, singing piano, you always need more support than singing forte. So really let your belly really engage and be part of the process. That way you're not just singing from here up, yeah? All right, good luck. Steeltownrunner asks, when do you study new roles and how do you approach learning them? I approach learning them like a hawk suckling its prey. That's a very good question. I study new roles as soon as I get the offer for them. If it's a role that I've never sung before, I have to, before I accept the offer, I definitely look at the score and try to listen to a recording if possible, to try to get an idea if it's appropriate for me in the first place, and to try to get an idea of the tessitura and where it sits in my voice. But I study new roles on the road a lot of the time when I'm performing other things. Right now, at the moment, I'm actually learning 2 new roles, so I am going back and forth between those, and it's kind of complicated, but the best thing that you can do is apply your time efficiently as much as possible and try to do a little bit of work every day rather than a crash course amount of work in a small amount of time. I try to give myself at least 3 months to learn a role in advance of when I need to be singing it, because it just takes that long to memorize it in detail and to get it settled and comfortable in the voice. If it's a role that I've sung before, I can usually refresh it, give and take, depending on the role. I can usually refresh it in about a week, but it does take a couple of weeks to get it into your voice if it's something that is new for you. So I definitely, studying is a big part of my job, and it's something that I do on my time off. So I never have time off. rosianneqz asks, do you have any techniques or tips for singing high notes in Gilda's aria from Rigoletto, Caro Nome? Well, my best advice for high notes is twofold. Number one, never go up on the balls of your feet. As much as you get into the performance and as much as you want to give to the audience, never do this, because you'll come forward and you'll get totally off balance. So remember your heels and remember the back of your body so that they remain grounded and planted for you. Then the buoyancy can happen in your head and your resonance space. So as you sing higher and higher, your soft palate needs to go up, and you need to create that nice domey resonance in the back of your mouth and in the top of your mouth. So try to point the air in your mind, try to point the air through your hard palate as though it's going to come out through the top of your head. If you try to sing your high notes back, they're going to go into the wrong resonance space and it's not going to feel comfortable. And if you try to sing your high notes forward, they're going to come out screamy, and you really don't want that either. So you want to find that nice balance. It's very difficult to do, but you can do it also if you modify some different vowels. So like in Caro Nome, the high notes generally tend to linger around B natural, A natural, and C sharp, which are in that register that for me already turns into a much brighter vowel. So for me, it doesn't help to sing or up there. For me, it helps much more to sing brighter vowels like up there. Those are the vowels that help you find that space naturally and also help give a lot of spin to the sound. So keep your vowels bright, keep your buoyancy lifted and your domey place happening in your mouth and in your head, and keep your heels on the ground. g.warren asks, have you ever struggled with a lack of self-motivation or strong self-doubt that made you consider giving up a career in opera? No, never. Just kidding. Of course I have. I think every artist struggles with a sense of self-doubt, a seed of self-doubt, sometimes a giant tree of self-doubt, sometimes constantly about everything that they do. We're always criticizing our own performances very harshly. I think that is a perfectly natural part of being an artist, so it's not something that you should feel ashamed of. But the antidote to it, in my view, is to try to work on self-improvement. If you feel like you are taking steps to becoming a better actor or becoming a better musician or becoming a better singer, then that is all you can do at the end of the day, is say, I am trying to improve, and be proud of that. Because if you settle for, oh, well, that's just how I sing, I'm just not that good, then you're never going to improve, and you're just going to feel bad about your singing all the time. And your voice is going to change. I mean, things that work for you when you're 20 and 25 years old aren't going to work for you when you're 30 and 35 years old and 40 and 45 years old. And you're constantly going to be coming up against new barriers and new challenges that are going to make you have to rework your technique. They're going to make you have to rework your physicality, your approach to how you learn things. So my advice is to definitely don't wallow in self-doubt, but take steps toward improvement, because that is how you'll go from becoming a beginner to a master. Thank you all so much for all your marvelous questions. I really appreciate getting them, and I love to answer them for you guys. Keep them coming if you want to see more videos like this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. My favorite ball on the pool table is this one. My favorite. But I suck.